Let's do a sniffle count. Take a shot. I'm kidding, no, don't. Love the premise and I love the cover. And those are my two most important factors. Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, we got very serious very quickly. I won't even disappoint my literature teacher and try to pronounce his name right now. This book is very slow. This cover is so cute. Emma by Jane Austen. This book is chunky. I am an Emily Henry fan. Action adventure books. Hi. So welcome back. Or welcome. I'm back today with a book video as promised, and while I'm compiling my list of my favorite books, if you can hear I'm still sick, so forgive me, but I'm compiling my list of favorites still. So I thought today I would discuss all of the books that I've been wanting to read but haven't been able to get to because of, other commitments, studying, stuff like that. And now that I have the time, these are the books that are very high on my radar that I hope to get to between now and August when I start my internship. Okay, we can get right into it. I'll start with the books that I actually have on my shelf. I don't have a lot of books on my shelf because obviously I've been moving here and there between my undergrad, law school, different countries in the past few years. So I don't really have a lot of physical books on my shelf. Most of them are books that I don't have or that I have on Kindle or will get on Kindle or may get physically. But as of right now, to show you, I only have a few. It doesn't look like a few, but it is a few in comparison. And these are just the books that I hope to get to. I don't think I'll get to all, to be honest, but yeah, we could just start. And the first book that I have is The Counselors. This is what it looks like. The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. I actually started this. This is one of the books that I have started and never finished, but very recently. So I started reading it, I think, when I got home from school, less than 2 weeks ago. So I do still plan on reading this. I should probably consider reading it now. But it's basically a camp counselor situation made a mystery kind of thing. I think it's young adult as well. I have a very rocky relationship with mysteries and thrillers. I have found that I enjoy young adult mysteries and thrillers a lot more than some of the adult thrillers that I've read. I don't know why. I think their plots are a little less pretentious. It's just kind of straight up, this is the mystery, this is how we solved it. And usually it's surprising, usually it's very entertaining and fast-paced and not too convoluted. I think a lot of adult thrillers that I've read have gone that route of being just a little too much and having very underwhelming surprises at the end. I need to be surprised. It's to me, I can't be surprised. I always figure things out. And so when a book is able to actually surprise me, you get extra cookies for that. I appreciate it. I love it. You'll get an extra star from me. But if I saw the twist coming, even without thinking about it too much, because I don't necessarily try to figure it out all the time, but I do. And if I do, immediately know I'm disappointed regardless of how good the book was. So yeah, I'm hoping to have some better luck. I think I'll do a little more experimenting with mysteries and thrillers this year. But yeah, that's the first book. I will not go into detail about all of the books because I have a lot and frankly I don't know a lot about all of the books, but yeah. The next book is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I saw Sarah Caroli, which if anybody looks at any type of book content, you know who she is, and I love her. When she read this, I was immediately intrigued. I love romance with a little depth. I have not necessarily been in a romance mood recently. However, I'm really intrigued. I'm very excited to read this. This is also very, very high on my TBR. I think once I finish reading The Counselors, I will read this. But I do have a video planned that might put those on a back burner for now. However, that's the next book. we got very serious very quickly here. The next book on my TBR is Crime and Punishment. I won't even disappoint my literature teacher and try to pronounce his name right now. But yeah, I thought I've been trying to read it for a few years now, and now I have the time. So I think I will make my way through this slowly but surely over the next few months. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I also have One Piece, and I thought about it. I did think about it for a second there, but I fear that's not fun, and I don't want to do that right now. It feels a little too close to studying, so maybe next time. The next book I have is Emma by Jane Austen. I wanted to read at least one or two classics this year. I don't have a lot under my belt aside from school, so I wanted to kind of get back into them. I remember loving reading the classic literature when I was studying, but I've not really found my way back to it yet. So hopefully Emma. I have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte as well on my TBR that I'm hoping to get to. So maybe both, maybe one of the two, but those are the ones on my TBR. The next one is Queen of Shadows by, how did I forget her name? Sarah J. Maas. I started this this series 2 years ago, I think, maybe a year and a half ago. I loved the first book. I loved it. Throne of Glass was one of my favorite books in the year that I read it. So I think either last year or the year before that. And since then, I've been slowly making my way through the series. This book is very slow for me. I've started it already. I'm on page 102. I really liked the book before this, I think Airfire, but that also took me a really long time to finish. I felt like the first 75% was very slow, and it was really hard to engage with. I was not hooked, and I think there were a lot of times where I felt like I was only reading it because of the hype and because everybody said, keep going, it gets better, which I hope it does, because I have this book and I have the next two books. So the only book that I don't have is the very, very last book in the series. And I do have the older covers, which I like. I've already committed, so I don't want to overthink it. But yeah, I want to finish this series and see what all the hype is about. I've enjoyed the books that I've read from it thus far, but I have not been obsessed. And that's all I have to say on that. The next book that I'm sorry for sniffling. The next book that I have is Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. I don't know a single thing about this book aside from I love the cover, and I know it's been kind of making its rounds on all of the different platforms slightly, and it hasn't gotten like a lot of hype, but a lot of people talk about it, so I picked that up. The next book that I have is Alone by Megan E. Freeman. This cover is so cute. I love it. I have no idea what it's about. I just know that it's kind of a survival story with this girl and her dog, or I think a dog that she finds, and it's a not young adult, it's a children's book, I think. I could be wrong, but I found it in the children's section. So yeah, I'm excited to, yeah, she's 12 years old. So Alone. This should be a cute, quick read, hopefully impactful in some way. This book has been on my TBR, I think, for 3 years now, and I am committed to reading it because I think Kristen Hanna is one of my favorite authors, and I can't necessarily say that with conviction because I've read 2 of her books only, and I know she has a huge backlist, and all of them are very similar, or most of them are very similar in that they're all or mostly historical fiction, which I have had moments where I've loved historical fiction and others where I just could not get into it, and the ones that I've read from her, the only one that was historical fiction was The Great Alone, which I absolutely loved. I think it was my favorite book or one of my favorite books of 2021 or 2022. I can't remember which one, but I loved it. I just remember binging it basically and then sobbing at the end, but I loved that book so much. And I also read Firefly Lane by her, which I also really liked. So she's been, I think, a 5-star author for me the 2 times that I've read her. But it's the size. This book is chunky. This book has just been very intimidating, and that's the only reason I haven't read it. But I'm very excited, and yeah, I hope to get it very soon. This one is in the same vein, very intimidated by this one. And I've read The Hobbit, and that took it out of me. That it was very difficult for me to read, and I wasn't necessarily captivated. So we'll see how I fare with the Lord of the Rings series, but I am committed to trying. And yeah, I also have the next 2 books in the series, so I was very ambitious that year. Anyway, the last book on my physical TBR that I have is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I've read one of her books before, which was The Love Hypothesis. I liked it. I wasn't obsessed with it. I don't really think about it ever, but she's all the rave, and I don't know, I just picked this book up because I saw it and the cover is cute, and I remember at least enjoying The Love Hypothesis, and so I thought I would give her a next try, see if she becomes somebody that I love. And yeah, I'm excited to read that one as well. I love the premise and the cover. Next are the books that I don't have on my physical TBR, but that are very, 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 very highly anticipated / very high on my TBR and my radar at this point, and that I actually do hope to get done in the next few months. So the first one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which it needs no explanation, needs no introduction. Similarly to the next one, which is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I've actually been slowly reading that since it came out, and it just happens that it came out while I was doing exams. So I have not been able to really lock in and just read it all the way through like I did with Happy Place and Book Lovers. But I am an Emily Henry fan. I every book that she's read that she's released so far, except People We Meet on Vacation, has been 4 or 5 stars. I absolutely love her writing. Happy Place was one of my favorites, if not my favorite book last year, and I loved all of her books, and I'm really excited. From what I've read from Funny Story thus far, I really love it too. I love both of the characters, and I'm very interested in the whole premise, the whole setup. I think it opens itself up to a lot of comedy and fun and cute moments. So I'm very excited to finish reading that. The next book that I have is The Ministry of Time, which, if you follow Sarah Caroli and those girls, Haley Pham and Destiny Sidwell, you will definitely have heard of this one. I think Haley Pham was the first one that I saw who read it, and she absolutely loved it. So, and also I love the premise and I love the cover, and those are my two most important factors when deciding if I want to read a book. So I definitely have that one very high on my radar. I want to read that one very soon. But yeah, the next one that I have is The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. I don't remember what this is about at all. I do remember that I googled action adventure books because I've been wanting to read just action adventure books. I don't know how to describe it because I don't think I've ever read it, but I was thinking in my brain more like Fall Guy slash, if y'all have seen that's a new movie with Ryan Gosling, which I loved. That was so good. Or like Indiana Jones. I've never read that, but just something fun and exciting and kind of just action adventure, whatever that means. I've been craving it, and I've never seen anybody really talk about that, at least not from the people that I've seen. So I kind of looked into it, and that's one of the books that came up. I don't know how accurate that is to what I'm looking for, but maybe it will set me on the right path. So I have that one lined up. The next one that I have is a current read, which I'm actively reading right now. I know I've said that about a few books, but it's been hard to get into just reading while I've been moving and traveling and whatever. So the next one is Listen for a Lie by Amy. I can't even figure out my own handwriting, but Listen for a Lie, which is a murder mystery mixed media type thing that includes a podcast and this girl who's accused of murder in her small town, and I've been actually really enjoying it so far. The only reason I haven't finished it is because of time and all the other things that I've been doing, but I've been loving that, so I want to finish that very soon. The next thing is A Curious Beginning. I don't know anything about it. I know Katie's reading, loves the series. I think it's called the Veronica Speedwell series, and I love her. I love her channel, and all of her recommendations, at least the ones that I've actually read, have been hits. So the premise intrigued me. Not that I remember what the premise is right now, but I was very intrigued by it, so I want to get into that one. The next one is The Last Love Note, which I think I only saw the cover and I said, yeah, immediately add to my TBR. The cover is gorgeous. That's all I know, but I do want to read it soon. I don't really have a lot of romance on this list now that I'm thinking about it, so yeah, maybe I will need that soon. Um, oh yeah, this is our next romance, the one with the kiss cam. I love the name. I love the cover. That's all. Um, oh, the next one is 28 Summers by Ellen Hildebrand. Hildebrand. You know who she is. Yeah, that's the next book that I have on my radar. I've been trying to get into her books for maybe like a year, and I just haven't. I have The Perfect Couple physically somewhere around, but I don't know. I've just never been called to read it. And then Sarah Caroli was talking about the entire series in her most recent video, and she talked about the Hotel Nantucket, which is also on my TBR. She sold me. It seemed very interesting and something that I would love. And she said that it was for the people who loved White Lotus, which I did. So I'm intrigued by that now. And then somebody else that I follow and who I followed for so many years, Kyra Stewart, she recently read 28 Summers by Ellen, and she absolutely loved it. She was like bawling her eyes out at the end. And if you can make me cry, I love that. I love when books make me feel something. So yeah, both of those are on my TBR. The next one that I have is An Ex Romance, which is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. Beth O'Leary. I'm not sure. But this one, my friend actually recommended to me. Let's do a sniffle count. Take a shot. I'm kidding, no, don't. Anyway, I can't remember where I was before I was cut off again. Oh, the next book that I have is The Heartbreak House Share by, who is this? Oh, Emily Merrill. I've just heard all about it. I heard it's very cute. I think it's just a story about four girls. I love a story where it's very female friendship or female lives coming of age in your 20s type of thing. So I'm excited to read that one. The next one I have is The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I actually started this last month or last 2 months. I really enjoyed the first book actually. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. I expected to be kind of underwhelmed by The Naturals, but I actually really enjoyed it. So I really hope I get to the next 3 or 4 books soon. So I was obviously cut off very rudely. So this is editing me here to finish with the last 2 books that I have on my TBR. The first one is The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. Much like everything else, very cute cover, very cute concept. I was sold. I'm very excited to read that one. And the last one on my TBR is Sirens and Muses by Antonia Angress. I'm also really excited about this one. I think this one is general fiction, if not literary fiction, which sometimes is my favorite genre, but it just takes a little more work to get into, so I don't gravitate towards it as much. But I'm really excited about this one, and I'm excited to see how many of these I read. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time.